Hey, welcome back everybody to the dungeons. Chalice Dungeons, that's where we are now. Specifically the Hinter Tomb. And I'm actually recording this post. This is post commentary, suffice it to say. Because I went through a dungeon and a half, I guess. And due to the repetitive nature of the dungeons, there's a lot of footage that's kind of spliced together. I think there's a good chunk here at the beginning, but be a lot of cuts. So I figured it would just be easier to comment over everything than try to. Yeah. Anyway, this is the situation we're in right now. And really my main reason for going through these dungeons at this particular time is, I mean, what else? It's part of an outfit. I'm setting up for my next build. Particularly, I'm trying to get to the... Whoa. Spooky. There's a boss halfway through the lower Hinter Tomb Chalice Dungeon. When you beat him, you can buy his garb, and that's my end goal. And it takes us a little while to get there. I've never really taken the time to notice these trees. It is a little strange that there are just trees in here. Oh, you know, I forget if this is our first sight of these madmen. These guys scared the shit out of me. Or, I mean, they used to. Now I'm kind of... I'm used to them now, but... When I first discovered those things, they were the creepiest fucking thing to me in this game, pretty much. And I always thought they were women, but, you know, according to the official guidebook, they are mad men. So. It is weird that there are just sort of trees in here. I mean, because we're in a dungeon deep underground. One would assume, and it generally is not a very good breeding ground for most types of plants, trees in particular. So who knows? Who knows why there are trees there? I suppose Miyazaki probably knows. Maybe he doesn't. There's some things he doesn't know. Some things he would rather not know, just sort of leave up to his own interpretation. He's, you know, famous for liking to leave things open. But not to the point of nonsense. Like, I'm sure you could come up with a reasonable conclusion as to why the trees are there. Oh, we're fighting a boar, by the way. Not much circumstance to this. It's just a boar with a few more moves, I think. And I'm just doing the usual thing. Stabbing it in the ass and then shoving my said ass. And now it's dead. Yeah, not all the Chalice Dungeon boss fights are winners. That's just due to the nature of the dungeons. Guessing I was checking my blood vial count there. So there's not really a way to do that other than turning the HUD on. One layer down. These dungeons are kind of a slog. I mean, I've always just kind of considered them Dumeru Chalice 2.0, because it's the thing that really sets apart Dumeru Chalices as opposed to Lauren or Ish Chalice. That's how I pronounce it. ISZ. Just seems like an Ish. Anyway. The major difference between Ish and Lauren and Dumeru is the color scheme, particle effects, and generally the enemies that you find in those dungeons. Those are like the three main factors, and the first two are sort of the same thing. And I suppose you could make an argument. You died. Anyway. You could also make the argument that, like, the loot you find in the different dungeons is also a key difference. With the Hintertomb dungeons, I suppose the Hintertomb chalices have more of an emphasis on poison. But I never really felt that that was enough for it to just be a completely different set of dungeons. Making a whole different series off of what could have just been one episode of a show, you know what I mean? So here we're encountering a spirit, I think it's called, some kind of spirit. Really reminded me of the other sort of white spiritual presence you can find that is non-combatant and just gives you a whole bunch of blood vials or bullets when you kill it. Except, of course, obviously this one is much more hostile. And they can go invisible and move very quickly across the room. That little... I hesitate to call that a chalice. I'm almost certain that's not the correct term. But that little object I just destroyed, which was spewing the purple mist, actually causes a poison buildup if you stand in it for too long, and really the reason to go into that corner, but I just like to destroy those things to be thorough. Here we've got a nice poison swamp. It's as well as many dead bodies hanging all over the place. Pretty disturbing, actually. But I think this is one of the sort of signature things in the Hintertomb chalices. And again, I'm not even sure if it's unique to these dungeons, because you know, they're so similar, they're so closely related in my mind that I just don't really think of them as separate entities. So this sort of area could also appear in a Dumeru Chalice dungeon. I have no idea. Another madman in here, as well as several rats. This can turn into quite a headache real quick. Fortunately, I think we're a little over-leveled for this dungeon, so it's not too much of an issue. Of course, I'm not 100% certain what's going to happen at any given time, because I actually played this quite a while ago. These rats are fucking gross. They have giant undulating boils on their backs. It's nasty. Ugh. Got some sort of canine corpse there. Tons of bodies in this room and just a fucking giant pool of blood and possibly poison. It's easy to just go into video game mode when you're playing through these dungeons and not really appreciate what you're actually seeing. I know that happens for me a lot of the time. I'm just like, okay, yeah, here's an enemy that I have to fight, and just stab it a few times and kill it. Where really it's a gigantic rat with horrible pustules and shit all over its body, and you know, many other horrific things. And this can probably partially also be due to the fact that this game is in third person, so you're kind of a little bit away from everything. You know, if it were in first person, you'd be a little more, you know, you'd be exactly where the character is. You'd be in the action. But I don't know. Souls mechanics would probably not work as well in first person. I mean, there have been multiple mods for that sort of thing, which I've never tried myself because, you know, my laptop isn't quite up to snuff to handle most of today's games. But I imagine it's a little more awkward and clunky in first person. Yeah. I believe this guy is called an undead giant or something like that. And again, this guy is like really fucking gross. There's some sort of tentacle-ish things dangling out from his sternum, among just a lot of other stuff. I mean, I believe that cannon is actually like fashioned to his arm, like possibly part of his arm was cut off and they just shoved that on there and I don't know, crazy glued it on. Gotta make our way back because we blew it. Wow, way to go. Yeah, same thing with the cleaver on the other end. It's just like taped to his arm or something like that. There's chains on the cannon. He's got candles on his back. Why the fuck would he have candles on his back? He's got this disgusting growth on his shoulder. He looks like Deadpool from the X-Men Origins movie. He's got like no real defining features on his face. Sort of slight indentations where the eyes and mouth would go. Like, what a miserable fucking life this thing must have. It's just so abhorrently awful. It would seem. I mean, I can't picture this guy going to a book club every Sunday. Alright, we're on the final layer of the first dungeon. We're moving right along. Honestly, I think most of the runtime is... Well, not most of the runtime, but a lot of it is going to come from the the last boss fight. Because it may have been a while ago, but I remember having a hell of a fucking time with it. Granted, I may cut it down. We will see. I believe this is our first encounter with the rolling ball section. Sort of reminiscent of Sense Fortress from the original Dark Souls. But it's nothing too complex, it's just the one little rolling ball. I'm getting fucked up. So this is a bit of a treasure room, I guess. There are different treasure rooms in these dungeons that are actually a bit more... luxurious is not really the word I'm wanting, but a bit more grandiose, I guess. As grandiose as these dungeons can get. I think there are only a couple actually in this room. What is it? It's a boy! Or a ritual blood. Open parenthesis, 2, close parenthesis. I always found that a little odd. The naming system of the ritual bloods and the gemstones and the blood echo items. You know, normally, like in Dark Souls, they come up with different names for different levels of soul items. And if I'm being honest, it's a little confusing. So, I don't know, maybe they had the right idea here. But at the same time, it does seem sort of unceremonious. There's a little bit of variance. Like with the blood echoes, you got... I don't actually remember. I remember the top tier is called Kin Cold Blood. There's like 4 tiers, but there are actually 12 different values that you can get. At least in the sort of base game, there are some higher ones you can get in sort of random chalice dungeons. You know, like higher tier chalice dungeons. Root chalices, I guess they're called. But I rarely ever actually do those. Alright, where are we going? We're looking a little lost here. Aha. A door! What's behind door number whatever the hell? Oh, it's a madman and a guy with a rifle. Great. That was close. I almost fucking ate it there. Let me stop and check my health while I'm getting shot at. Yeah, even something as simple as like that guy with the rifle that I just killed. if I were to see that in real life, even if he weren't being hostile to me, it would make me very uncomfortable. He's just so gaunt and pale and a little bit slimy. It's fucking gross. I've just seen it so many times. I don't really care anymore. Alright, we're coming up on our third boss. What's it gonna be? Probably some sort of Thumerian descendant. I should know, I should remember. But I just don't. I'm fairly certain that's what it is, though. Some sort of Thumerian. Oh, guess not. It's a blood-starved beast. And again, this thing is disgusting. And this one actually does bother me still a little bit, because it's just, there's just these fucking flaps of flesh just whipping all the fucking way around town. Have I used the word disgusting already? Because if so, I retract the word disgusting from where I was talking about before, and then I apply it to this. I see a lot of people talk about this boss, I guess probably just beginners, talking about this boss and saying, you know, oh, this boss is kicking my ass, but I've never had a particular problem with this boss. In fact, I think my first time I probably killed it a second try? I'm not sure, but you know, the nature of these games is such that one person can have an easy time with one boss and a hard time with another, and then another player can have the exact opposite experience. Which I think is impressive in terms of game design. Okay, so we got a few treasures from that. We got a nice blood gem out of it. Some twin bloodstone shards, and the lower Hintertomb chalice. That's the most important one. The whole reason we even went through this particular chalice. Okay, so I think at this point we're gonna head back to the dream. Well, yeah, because we gotta open up the next chalice, obviously.
Welcome.
Maybe level up a little bit.
Very well.
What did I go with? Maybe a bit of endurance. Yeah. I know me.
Farewell, good.
I've met me before, in person. Something many people cannot say. Because there are many people on this earth. And, I mean, I just haven't been very many places. So, you know, unless people went out of their way to meet me, there would really be no way for me to have met most people. So I had to go off and actually get some of the materials for the next dungeon. But you didn't have to watch that through movie magic, so now we can just go ahead and activate the next dungeon. And here we are. Lower Hintertomb, Layer 1. Our ultimate destination is going to be the Layer 2 boss, which I may have said already, but I have a bad memory. I'm sorry. So everything before this, audio voice recording wise, was recorded previously. This is a different time that I'm recording this right now. So now I have the knowledge that I did in fact cut down the final boss. Final boss? Well, I guess it is the final boss fight of this video. I cut it down a lot. Because it really did go on for a long time. So I did that for your convenience. You're welcome. It's a good one. I think perhaps I'm slightly under-leveled for this one. Or maybe I'm just at level and I'm used to being over-leveled, because whenever I play these games, I try to get as powerful as I can as quickly as possible. I just like to stomp on things. It's fun for me. But, not as rewarding, ultimately. But I don't have any restraint. This happens every single time I come into this room. And I always climb up the ladder because I'm impatient. I climb up the ladder and I go, he's gonna knock me off as soon as I get up there. But, you know, maybe not this time. But it happens. It always happens. It'd be smart. Use, I don't know, a throwing knife to lure him down. Molotov cocktail. Something. But no, I just run on up there. I am the picture of impatience, the embodiment. Just slowly plodding along through these dungeons. It's taken me a considerably long time to put this video together. I shot the footage, I don't know, 2 months ago now, and then I recorded part of the audio, but I didn't really have the whole video edited, so I had to stop. And yeah, I'm an awful, horrible procrastinator person. Sorry again. Got another madman. These guys really did used to scare the shit out of me. First time I saw one. Fucking creepy as hell. Hey, now it's kind of whatever. I actually can't wait for the next build, and I don't even know what it is. Oh, yeah, okay, I remember now. That's how long it's been. I don't fucking remember. Alright. This first boss. Oh, right, yep. Got stuck in here, that was a little awkward. It's a bit of foreshadowing. This goes horribly. Hilariously horribly. And here's the start of it. I get caught by the first projectile attack. He doesn't manage to grab me. But he will get many more tries. Here's the first one. I'm almost certain that I have 0 insight by the end of this battle. Yep. Try to get off a charge attack like an idiot. This guy's weak to thrust damage, and I have a fucking spear. I should have destroyed him in seconds. But that's not what's happening. And that's what will continue to not happen. Oh, there's another one. I decided to turn my HUD on just to see how much I was losing. I'm down to 17, it looks like. You know, I just noticed he's wearing a necklace. It's a detail I've never noticed before. I wonder exactly what it looks like. And... didn't even have to trap me. He just straight up grabbed me. That should be 15 now, I think. 15 sight. God damn. This dude is nothing but traps and grab attacks, and I'm falling for almost all of them. 50% of them at least. And I will not redeem myself with the next boss fight, believe you me. Again. God damn, this is embarrassing. Oh, that was a hair flip. I've never noticed that before. I finally managed to get him. My goodness. I was looking for a really rude gesture here. Didn't find one. Okay. Moving right along. Oh, what an embarrassment. Like the blood of my enemies, it stains me. I'm soaked in embarrassment. Alright, layer 2. We're here. We just gotta find the switch. And then head to the boss. And beat it. Super simple, right? And we're jumping ahead a little bit. Just found this skeleton. Figured I'd point it out. It's weird looking. Now you know. You know, I seem to have this issue, and I wonder if other people have it too, where there's a thing in the game that I want, be it an item, a weapon, a ring, a piece of clothing, something else, and there's a boss, you know, just before that. And I can run through the game and defeat all the bosses prior with mostly no issue. But then I get to the boss just before that item, regardless of what the item is. It could be just about fucking anything. But the boss just before that item, or the boss that gives me that item, or whatever, fucking kicks the ever-loving shit out of me. It's crazy. I mean, I guess it's a mental thing where I'm so close to the item that I'm just kind of resigned and I don't do as well. That must be it. I don't know what else it could be. But whenever I'm in that situation, that last boss just gives me the hardest fucking time. Doesn't matter which one. Could be the fucking Celestial Emissary. If I wanted, for instance, to get the item that is between the Celestial Emissary and, you know, the next boss, if I wanted to get that item specifically, the Celestial Emissary would kick my fucking teeth in. For sure. No doubt. Okay, so we've hit the switch, I think, in that little rant I had. Alright. Now the fun begins. Oh, man. This is bad. In fact, on my timeline, I can see that my death is very, very close already. That tentacle attack, it's the death of me many times. This motherfucker. He gives me the fucking GG. I forget what that gesture is called. He's like, yeah, fucking way to go, dude. Good game. Dumbass. And he does it twice. Fucking cocky asshole. Yep. That attack fucking destroys me many times. He did it again. He fucking did the gesture. What a dick. This one actually goes on for, I don't know, about 10 seconds more, it looks like. I believe this boss is called the Forgotten Man. Fucking visceral attacked me. He visceral attacked me. He gave me the goddamn gesture again. He won't stop with this gesture. Yep, and then here's just a bunch of deaths. And there's the fucking gesture again. Smug. I didn't really have time to do the gesture there. He doesn't do it here, but he does give us a good stare. Alright, so I believe in this one we get into phase 2 of the fight. Because there is a phase 2. In fact, there's a second person. That was the easy part of the fight, and I fucked it up many times. And there's my death again. And there's that fucking gesture. Jesus. Yeah, this took a while. Oh, and this, I never noticed. This guy does the fucking clap. Oh my god. Alright. This is the one. I actually managed to do it on this try. And I have the HUD turned on. So yes, this guy's called Forgotten Madman. Looks like I'm going for the parry tactic. We're using the same gun, I just noticed. He's using the, oh, what's that called? The Phantasm Shell, I think? To put an arcane buff on his Ludwig's Holy Blade. Yeah. Now you know how it feels to be visceral attacked, sir. Madman's Escort's the name of the other guy. The Clapper. This guy has a significantly smaller health pool, thankfully. They have, From Software has some mercy on me. Oh. Yeah, I really want to get him dead, but I'm very paranoid that he'll just kill me. So, trying the ranged tactics. Ooh. I think I put on a rune to up my arcane defense so that didn't automatically kill me. Ooh. Damn, I missed it. Oh, he's dead. I just gotta kill the escort. Come on. Yeah, see, his health's going down way faster. Oh, he's bringing out the hammer. Hey, there it is. More like Dead Man's escort, am I right? Okay. Alright. Oh, man. I must have been somewhat relieved at this point. I was probably still pretty pissed. Just because it took so terribly long. But at least it's over. Okay, I guess now I'm closing out the video. Thank you for watching this unusual episode of Bloodborne. I hope you enjoyed it. It was certainly interesting to make, considering the way that I'm putting it together. Okay, not gonna ramble. I'm just gonna close this out. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll join me again for the next one. Until then, take it easy.